So guys, we are starting with stakeholder engagement today. Now, before we start with the activities and processes related to stakeholder engagement, question to all of you, what is stakeholder engagement? What is stakeholders? In fact, forget about stakeholder engagement. What are stakeholders? Who all are stakeholders in the project? Guys, who all are stakeholders in the project? What do you mean when you say stakeholders? Guys, who will define stakeholders?
Which involved
Affected
directly or
indirectly or directly.
right? Yes, yeah, it.
So, are they individuals
Yes, yeah.
or are they
Individuals
only?
and team
Are,
as well.
so they can be individuals, they can be group,
Uh,
right? They can be an organization,
The
right?
government.
Yeah. So can I say any individual, group, or an organization that that can impact the outcome of the project or program or portfolio, or that can be impacted by the outcome, right? Is a stakeholder?
yeah.
Yes or no?
Yeah.
True statement.
Yeah, yeah.
Even if somebody perceives that they may be impacted by the outcome of the program, they are stakeholders, right?
Yeah.
Now, see, if you want to think about all the possible stakeholders in a program, you can think about an acronym, right? Or see, within this acronym, all the stakeholders are covered, right? I'm just writing the acronym GUPI. Can you see GUPI written on the screen?
Yeah. Yeah.
This GUPI includes all the possible stakeholders, right? Now, in this GUPI, G stands for governance, right? Now, U stands for user beneficiaries. Right? B stands for providers, right? And I stand for influencers. Is that okay? Now tell me, what are governance stakeholders? What are user beneficiaries? What are providers? And what are influencers? Can you give me one example of each? When I say program governance board, where would they fall? Program governance board or program steering committee? Where would
Governance part only, sir.
governance, right?
Yeah.
Okay. The customers, the users, right? The consumers, where would they fall? Where would they fall? Under user beneficiaries?
Yes, yes. User beneficiaries.
Now, suppliers, delivery teams, where would they fall?
P.
Right? Providers, right?
Hmm.
Now, some external stakeholders that can have impact or that can be impacted by the project, the government bodies, let's say regulatory bodies, where would they fall?
I.
Right? Influencer. In fact, your own IT, admin, PMO, they all will fall under influencers, right? Is that
Like
okay?
internal, external both.
Yes. Yes. Right? Now, tell me few benefits of a solid stakeholder engagement. What are the benefits of solid stakeholder engagement, guys?
Sorry, pardon. What is the question here?
My question is, what is the benefit of solid stakeholder engagement?
Benefit of
A good stakeholder engagement
successful delivery of benefits.
or understanding. See, when you engage very well with the stakeholders, right?
Hmm.
Right? Now, engagement means more when you collaborate more with the stakeholders, right? Will you be able to understand their expectations very well? When you understand their expectations very well and deliver as per their expectations, right? What happens? The stakeholder support goes up. right? You are able to influence stakeholders, right? The trust increases, right? And ultimately, the value delivered by the program improves. Yes or no? What do you say, Rafael? Yes or no?
Yeah, true.
The benefit will be to reduce resistance, right? And to
Yeah,
maximize support for all the program.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Now, some of the very key activities, right? Some of the important activities in stakeholder engagement are identification of stakeholders, right? Program stakeholder identification. Now, when you identify program stakeholders, right, you will add them to a document called as stakeholder register, right? Now, can you visualize how does a stakeholder register look, or shall I show you? How does a program stakeholder register look? What does it contain, guys?
Yep.
Think about it and tell me, what does it contain? Does it contain about the basic information of the stakeholders, like their contact details, their basics? And apart from this, does it contain their requirements, their expectations, right? Whether they are supporters, they're blockers, they're neutral, right?
To classify it,
And
right?
yeah, and they might the the stakeholder register can also talk about the power and the interest or influence of the stakeholder, right?
Yes.
Right. See, a stakeholder register is something like this, right? I'll show you. This is a sample stakeholder register, right? Can you see a stakeholder register in front of you?
Yeah, we can.
Right. Now, so the stakeholder register is actually the first document that you create, right, while managing the program, right? Now,
When this register will be created at the initial stage when we are
yeah,
finalizing the business case.
so in terms of program life cycle, it should be
Mm,
there at a program definition, right? You should start
definition.
working on this during the formulation stage of the program, right? And
Like
then
other
you,
registers, like other
yeah,
registers, risk
absolutely,
registers, stakeholder registers, yeah.
absolutely right. But
Benefit
it,
register.
but again, it's not a one-time activity. It
It's
is
a progressive
continuous.
elaboration.
Yeah, yeah. It's a continuous activity, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And you will refine the items inside the stakeholder, right? Now, by the time the first version of the stakeholder register is created, you have some idea about all the key stakeholders in the program, right? Now, tell me one thing. As a program manager, are you time constrained or you have infinite amount of time? Tell me, guys, are you time constrained or you have infinite amount of time as a program manager? Atul,
Time constant.
time constraint. So tell
Yeah.
me, should you be able to engage with all the stakeholders, or should you have a proper strategy, right? Or should you prioritize your stakeholder engagement, right? Obviously, your effort should be more towards a high priority stakeholders. Yes or no?
Yes.
Right? Now, there is an activity called as stakeholder analysis, which is done to analyze the stakeholders in terms of their power, interest, or legitimacy. There are various models which are available to us, right? There is a power interest model, right? There is an interest influence model, right? There are other models also. Which, for example, there can be a model such as stakeholder cube, which includes power, interest, and aptitude and attitude, not aptitude, attitude. And there is a salience model also, right? Which helps you to prioritize stakeholder in terms of their power, right? Uh, Urgency and legitimacy, right? So first we'll talk about the most common model, which is a power interest grid, right?
Right.
So I'll just take you through power interest grid. Now this is a sample power interest grid, guys, right? Now the y-axis is power and the x-axis is interest, right? On the basis of power and interest, right? The stakeholders are categorized, right, into four
Right. Yeah.
categories. One category, right, which I am highlighting here is low power, high interest. Then we have high power, high interest. Then we have high power, low interest, and then we have low power, low interest, right? Now I'll start with low power, high interest, right? Now tell me, who all fall under this category? When I say high power, low interest, who all fall under this category? Sorry, it's low power, high interest, right? In low power, high interest, who all fall under this category? Tell me, your star performers, right? Do they fall under low power, high interest or not? Yes or no?
Star performer in low power and high interest.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, we can say.
They may not have very high amount of authority.
They are not authoritative, but they are having high.
Right. So tell me,
interest.
what is the right strategy for these people? Should you keep them informed, updated about how their contribution is aligned to the program's success, right? And you should constantly acknowledge their good performance. Yes or no? And you should communicate about some reward and recognition based on their good performance, but they should be updated, right? If you don't keep them informed, what will happen? See, either they will be demotivated, right? Or they may try to exit from the program, right? Yes or no?
Yeah.
So tell me, is keeping them informed a right approach or strategy for low power, high interest stakeholders? Is it the right strategy, guys? Atul, Rafael,
Yeah.
what do you think? What do you think, Rafael? Is it the right strategy, Rafael?
Yes.
Right? Now, let's move to the next quadrant. The next quadrant is high power, high interest people. Right? They have high amount authority, right? They have high interest in the success of the project, right? Tell me, as a program manager, should you manage their expectation very closely or not?
Yeah, it's mandatory.
Yeah.
Now tell me, what are the benefits of managing their expectations very closely? If you engage with them very closely, you will understand their expectation and will deliver accordingly. Now tell me, will this help you later?
Yeah.
A good relationship with these stakeholders, will it help you to, if you build trust with these stakeholders, will it help you to facilitate things faster? Will it
Yes.
help you to make decisions faster or not?
Yes.
Your approvals will be faster, right?
Right. Yeah.
What else? And tell me, can they help you to remove blockers from your program? Yes
Yes,
or no?
Yes.
they should be supportive sometime. Yeah.
Yeah. So, the best way, right? You should be actively involved with these people, right? Right? You should be managing the expectations very closely, right?
Right. Yeah.
Is that okay? Now,
Yeah.
the third category, right? The third category is high power, low interest. Now, first of all, give me some examples of high power, low. See, this high power, low interest can be an internal stakeholder or external stakeholder. Give me some example of high power, low interest stakeholder.
The
The top
government.
the top brass,
Hmm?
top level executives.
But
High
tell me why
power and
high power, low interest.
The government.
Government, yes.
communities.
See, government, for example, as an external stakeholder, Government is a very good example. Tell me, government people have high authority, right? But are they interested in success of your project?
No.
No. They are least bothered whether you pass or fail, right? Is that okay? So tell me, I am not saying them please them, but keeping them satisfied, is it a right strategy or not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? So, because they can damage your program, right? So keeping them satisfied is a right strategy, right? When we talk about people who are high power and low interest, right? And sometimes, such people can be internal stakeholders also. Rafael, can there be an internal stakeholder who can be high power and low interest?
Yeah, of course. For example, director or vice president from another area, maybe he's not interested in our program, but of course he can block, or I don't know, yeah,
Right. But anyways, the best strategy, right? When you talk about high power, low interest is to keep them satisfied, to keep these kind of stakeholders satisfied, right? Now, the next one, the least effort that you have to consume, right? See, the next quadrant is, the stakeholders that are low power, low interest, right? They will consume very less energy of yours. Some set of people who are not very high in terms of aspiration, you give them a trivial kind of a work, they are happy doing that trivial kind of work, right? So, you can simply monitor them, right? You don't need to actively involve with them, but you can monitor them from a distance. They will not consume a lot of energy of yours, right? So you don't have to, your lot of energy will not be consumed in this quadrant, right? Right? Out of all the four different categories of stakeholders that we have discussed, this will consume least energy of yours. Is that okay, guys? Now, this is in brief about Power Grid Matrix, which is a stakeholder analysis tool. If you have any question about this, please ask me.
No, it is very well understood by me. No problem.
Now, see, when this works very well in a small, when the stakeholders are not too many, when the projects are not very, or programs are not very big. But for big programs, for big, huge programs where multiple suppliers are involved, we use another model which is called a salience model. Have you heard about salience model, guys? Now, can we discuss salience model? In the
Yes.
salience model, we categorize stakeholders based on power, legitimacy, and urgency, right? Now, let me share a sample salience model with you. Now, right, this is a salience model, right? Now, in salience model, we are going to categorize stakeholders based on 3 parameters instead of 2, right? Power, urgency, and legitimacy, right? Is that okay? Now, tell me, sometimes legitimacy means legally how much a stakeholder is entitled for a claim. Now, tell me, is power always a legitimate power? Can power be a power of influence also? Tell me, when we talk about power, is it always a legitimate power or is it a power of influence also?
Power of influence also.
Right? Right? So, for example, if you are subject matter expert of any area, you get an expert. If you're close buddy of somebody very senior in the organization, you have a referent power, right? So you
Right.
can have power. So this power can be a legitimate power. It can be power of, because you're expert power. It can be power of influence also. You might be very close to somebody very senior, right?
Right.
Legitimacy is your legal entitlement, and urgency is how urgent the requirement is, right? Now, based on these three parameters, we will categorize stakeholders into 7 different categories in terms of priority, right?
Right.
If you look at this sequence, right? If you look at this sequence, the most high priority requirement people are definitive. Definitive is the topmost priority, right? 7 number. Now, if you look at this Venn diagram, what does 7 represent? High power, high urgency, and high legitimacy. It covers it. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes.
Second is dominant, right? The second one in terms of priority is dominant, right? Now, dominant will have, since it is 4. Now, can you see what is dominant? 4. High legitimacy and high power. Urgency is not there, right?
Right.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Now, let's see dangerous. Now, in dangerous, what do you see, guys? High power and high urgency, no legitimacy, right?
Right.
Right? Dependent, 6th, urgency and legitimacy, right? 6th. Then we have a dormant. Dormant is only power, nothing else. So can there be some board members or sleeping partners? They fall under dormant. Shareholders,
Yes.
right? They may have power, but they're usually dormant. Now discretionary. Next is discretionary, second number. Only legitimacy, nothing else, right? No urgency, no power. And then we have demanding. Is that okay? Demanding is only urgency, nothing else, right?
Yep.
Now tell me, let's discuss each of them, right? Now, who is the least in terms of priority here? Demanding, right? Now, can you give me an example, right? Can you give me an example of demanding? Now, demanding doesn't have any legit power. Demanding doesn't have any power or legitimacy, but they have urgency, right? Now, tell me, if this kind of a stakeholder in front of you, how will you respond? You should respond for sure, or you should respond if required only.
You respond when required.
Right? Or you might communicate with him, right? See, a good example of this would be, a customer whose annual maintenance contract has expired, whose annual maintenance contract has expired, right? And still he's demanding a free service or free repair. Now tell me, is this customer demanding or not?
Yes.
Now, from the company's perspective, should you consider his demand to do a free repair?
No.
No, right? So you can ignore his demand, right? If yes or no?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. You should communicate with him, but communicate clearly. You don't need to please him, right? Is that okay?
Yeah. Yes.
Now,
Yeah.
a discretionary stakeholder, right? Second. Now, give me example of a discretionary. Now, tell me, is discretionary stakeholder legit? His claims are legal if he claims, right? But no power, no urgency.
Right. Yeah.
Can you give me an example of this?
No power, no urgency.
Give me an example of this, right? A customer who has taken your annual maintenance contract, is he legit? Right?
Yes, yeah.
And in general, right? If his product is, the product he has bought is safe, right? It's working very, very fine. Will you put him in this category or not? Yes or no?
Yes.
Right? You can put him. Any other example, guys, of discretionary category? Rafael, any example of discretionary category? Kapil, Rafael, Prashant?
No.
Legitimate, but no power, but again, no urgency also, right?
Maybe a team member with some, I don't know, improvement idea, but it's not priority or something like that.
Yeah. Now, dormant we have already discussed, right? We have discussed dormant, right? Like somebody from the board, right? High power only, right? Or a sleeping partner, right? Who's not actively participating. Investors, right? They might fall under dormant, only power, right? Now, sixth is dependent. Now, what are the attributes of dependent? High legitimacy, high urgency. Can you give me an example of this, guys? Give me an example of dependent stakeholder.
Maybe the sponsor of the project, the program.
I think sponsor should fall slightly higher than this, right? Sponsor has power also, Rafael.
Yeah.
So if I say sponsor, right? Sponsor should fall under, dominant or definitive, right?
High power, high interest.
Yeah. Now, for sixth, can I say a customer who has taken an annual maintenance contract and his product is not functioning? His contract, his AMC is valid and the product is not functioning, right? Rafael, suppose we have taken annual maintenance contract for a product such as television, mobile, or let's say air conditioner, but your but your uh, but your product is not working. So in this scenario, do you have high legitimacy and urgency both or not?
Yeah.
So how should you be responded to? So what should be the right strategy here? Is continuous collaboration with a customer like Rafael a right strategy or not? Right? Yes or no?
Yes.
Right? So independent, you should constantly update them on Rafael on what is the status with respect to the repair, right? And how is the progress, right?
Yeah.
Now, the fifth one is dangerous, right? What is dangerous? Power and urgency. Power and urgency, right? Can government fall under this category? Can government fall under this category? Power and urgency? Yes or no?
Yeah, like a new regulation, right? Impacting our
Yes. But with respect to compliance,
or something like that.
with respect to some compliance or regulation, a government body can fall in this category, right? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
fourth is,
I think, for example, the thing about the electronic invoicing, I have heard some programs to implement electronic invoices in Latin America, and each country has a deadline. Then it was a requirement from the government.
yes, absolutely. Yeah.
To fulfill the deadline.
Yes. This is a good example, right? Yes. Now, dominant. Four, right? power and legitimacy, right? Right? Power and legitimacy. Give me an example of power and legitimacy. Who all will follow? Your sponsor, can your sponsor fall under this category?
Yes.
Right? So again, not a lot difference between see, sponsor can be depending on the nature of the program. Sponsor can be dominant or definitive, right? The key difference between dominant and definitive is in definitive or everything is high, right? Power, urgency, and legitimacy, right? Right. Now, for example, if you talk about doctors in a hospital, right? Suppose your program is to build a hospital, doctors in a program in the hospital, in which category they will fall in? Definitive? Yes or no?
Yes.
Right? Now, see, what are all of these categories, right? I think we can understand this with the help of a case study. Can we do a simple case study? A very simple case study, right? Let's do a very simple case study that will help you to understand all these categories better, right? Now, this case study is AI-powered healthcare implementation, guys, right? Now, the background of this case study is a large hospital chain, Meditech Healthcare, is implementing an AI-powered patient management system, right? To enhance patient care, reduce administrative burden, and improve hospital efficiency. This project involves multiple stakeholders and varying level of power, legitimacy, and urgency, right? Now, let's identify all the stakeholders involved with this project and put them in different categories with respect to salience model. Guys, can we do it? In fact, I have already done it for you, right? Now, can you see different stakeholders? I'll give you 2 minutes for just scan this whole table. It talks about all the stakeholders, right? Their power, legitimacy, urgency, right? And the category in which they fall, right? Just I'm giving you 2 to 3 minutes. Just go through this, right? Then we'll discuss.
Okay.
So guys, are you okay with each of the stakeholders and their power, legitimacy and urgency?
Yeah.
Right? So if I say hospital, board and executives, right? High power,
Right.
high legitimacy,
Yeah.
depending on the nature of work, right? Depending on the nature of the program, urgency may be high or low, right? Right now you have put them in a dominant category, but they can be definitive also, right? If required, right? Now, doctors and medical staff, for sure, they should, with respect to a hospital, they are high power, high legitimacy, and high urgency, right? A category of definitive stakeholders. Yes or no?
Yes.
When I say patients,
Power
they may
there.
not be powerful, but again, legally, they have a legitimacy and high urgency, right? They are more like dependent, right? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Similarly, the IT department, right? Because now everything happens with IT, right? The diagnosis, right? The case history. So IT department is definitely high power, high legitimacy, right? Urgency, it all depends, right? So tell me, what do you consider high? You know, highly urgent, urgency will be high or low?
Considering the way things are changing into this
Uh-huh.
medical sector, right?
Mhm.
The operation with the help of AI. In
Mhm.
my view, IT department should be on urgency.
I will also consider it high.
Yeah. Well,
Why? Because scheduling of patient and
patient.
multiple other things depend on this, right?
Mm-hmm.
In fact, hospitals' performance is now dependent on the performance of IT department to a very great extent, right?
You can see into the big hospital if you are going for any medical checkup as well. There are digital booth available where you can select the package and then rather than you should be in a queue taking
So,
the manual slip
yes,
and all that.
yes. Plus, there are now self-help systems available, right?
Exactly, self-help.
So, see, the way I would perceive is, I will keep power low, but legitimacy and urgency should be high.
Should be on higher side, yes.
Yes or no?
Yeah.
Now, if it is the head of IT or, CIO or CTO, we can have all the three high, right? But the way it is generally put IT department, it can be high legitimacy, high urgency, right? Government regulatory bodies, right? Sometimes, in case of hospital, right? In case of hospital, it's a continuous involvement, right? So yes, we can say high power, high legitimacy, high urgency, right? Yes or no?
Yes.
It is not conditional for a hospital, right? When you talk about hospital or education systems, right? It should be all the three, right? And when we talk about insurance companies, high power, high legitimacy, right? Low urgency, right? But I would consider, see, do you consider the same way? I would say maybe less in terms of power, but high legitimacy and high urgency.
Yeah. Agreed. Insurance companies. Yeah.
Yeah, because from the perspective of customer, he wants to get everything approved as fast as possible, right? Yes or no? So what do you think, Rafael? Should it be high legitimacy and high urgency for insurance companies?
No, insurance companies process indeed are very how to say, well, they take their time, right? They are not in a rush.
No,
They
that's okay. They have to take their own approvals and everything. But
Sir,
urgency, uh, but the requirements are urgent, right?
no, no, I think, well, they are like like they have like serenity power, right? They
Okay.
have power, but they are not in a rush. They are like, this is the these
Okay.
are
Okay.
terms of
Okay.
the
Yes. Yes. Yes.
contract,
Yes. Yes.
and
Yes. So
that's
Atul, yeah,
that's it.
I agree. Rafael, Atul, the perspective from which Rafael is saying is that,
Mhm.
the insurance company, they never push pressure on the hospital to pay their money, right? Yes or no?
Yeah, yes, yes, yeah.
Right? This is what
But
you mean, Rafael, right? Their
Yeah.
process take, yeah, right. So, okay, that way it's okay, right?
as per patient, I believe for patient this is urgency, right? But as a stakeholder,
see, we are talking about,
for insurance company, it is not urgency for them. Yes, that I
yeah,
agree.
yeah,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's an urgency for the patient, right?
It's
Not for,
urgency for the patient, not for the
yeah,
insurance company, right?
from the perspective of a stakeholder, right?
Right, yeah.
Right. Now just go through this slide also, which talks about, how should you respond to different types of stakeholder, right? For example,
Mm-hmm.
if the stakeholder is dormant, you can
Mm-hmm.
simply monitor. If the stakeholder is discretionary, you have to keep him
Inform, right?
informed.
Yeah.
If it is demanding, right? A
Right, yeah.
demanding stakeholder doesn't have any legitimacy or
Mhm.
power, but urgency, right? So this
Right.
kind of stakeholders usually create some nuisance, right? Address if needed. If it is a dominant stakeholder, right? Engage continuously. If it's a dangerous stakeholder, manage carefully, right? High risk stakeholder, right? If it is dependent, right? Collaborate. And in case of definitive, prioritize and act immediately, right? A strong buy-in is required from this kind of a stakeholder, right? So this is a salience model, right? Now we have completed two models to analyze stakeholder engagement, right? Now tell me, after analyzing the stakeholders through these two models, right? Are we in a position to create a stakeholder engagement plan, which should be the next step? Yes or no? The stakeholder engagement plan is our next step, right? So are you in a position to create a stakeholder engagement plan? Right?
Yes.
Now, can we see how does it look? What does it contain? Right? Now, within a stakeholder engagement plan, see, a very, very important component of a stakeholder engagement plan is stakeholder engagement assessment matrix. Right? Have you seen this matrix before? This will be a key ingredient, right? Or key component of a stakeholder engagement plan. Right? Now, this is one type of format of a stakeholder engagement assessment matrix. You can have other also, right? It contains list of various stakeholders, then category, whether they are unaware, whether they are resistant, neutral, supportive, or leading. Now, C here means current engagement level, and D means desired engagement level, right? Now, if I talk about stakeholder one, tell me, what is the current engagement level of stakeholder one here? Unaware, right? Is he unaware, Atul?
Yeah.
Now, for the success of project, right, you want his desired engagement level to be what? This D means desired. So you want his desired engagement level to be supportive, yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right? Now, to tell me, to take him from unaware to supportive, do you require a continuous communication or not?
Yeah.
So, you will design your strategy in such a manner, right? You will design your stakeholder engagement and communication strategy in such a manner so that he becomes, supportive from being unaware, right? Now, if you look at stakeholder two is currently neutral, but for project to be successful, you ultimately want this stakeholder to be his desired engagement level to be supportive,
Supporting. Okay.
right? And stakeholder three, right, is currently supportive, and you want him to be supportive only, right? And there can be multiple stakeholders here. For example, there can be a stakeholder who is a blocker currently,
Mm-hmm.
but you want him to be at least neutral or supportive. So constant engagement, constant mentoring, constant coaching will be required, right? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Now, this is the first component, right, of a stakeholder engagement plan. Now, overall, a stakeholder engagement plan looks like this, right? These are the key components I'll show you. These are the key components of a stakeholder engagement plan, right? Let me show you. Right? Can you see the key components, guys? The first element is desired and current engagement level of stakeholders. Yes or no?
Yes.
Now, this is nothing but your stakeholder engagement assessment matrix, right? The second element is scope and impact of change to stakeholders, right? Now, can you give me some example of scope and impact of change to stakeholders? Give me some examples, right? What kind of change a program can see? A program is a big change, right?
Right.
So it can impact many people. Can it changes the way of working? Can a program outcome lead to change in the way of working? Yes or no?
Yes.
Right? What else can be the scope and impact of change to the stakeholders? Can a program leads to relocation of certain stakeholders? Yes or no? Tell me, can a program outcome leads to relocation of certain stakeholders? Prashant?
Yeah.
Right? Kapil says yes. Rafael, tell me, can a program outcome lead a change like relocation of some stakeholders? Rafael, yes or no?
No, what is the relocation? I don't understand
For example, you are building a highway, right, or a underpass. There are people living nearby, right? Or a company decided to merge with another company and they're planning to shut down a particular office as a part of their strategy. They all are big programs. Now, as a result of this, some employees might get relocated to some other city. Can this
Okay.
happen or not?
Yeah, of course.
Right. Plus, sometimes, a program outcome can make certain roles obsolete. Yes or no? Some roles can become obsolete.
That happens a lot after SAP transformation.
Yes. Even as a result of digital transformation, a lot of AI into picture, right? Some roles might become obsolete. So people have to embrace that change. They have to learn new skills, right? So this is the meaning of scope and impact of change to the stakeholders, right? Now,
Or because of the artificial intelligence programs.
yes. Now, third one, identified interrelationships and potential overlap between stakeholders, right? Now, tell me, stakeholders can have dependencies, right? Relationships, yes or no? Within the program, right? If there are multiple suppliers, can they have dependencies? Right? Plus, there can be some overlap between stakeholders. Overlap means some common requirements of all the stakeholders, right? Can there be some common requirements of multiple stakeholders? Yes or no? Right? So that is identifying you need to identify this, the dependency, the common requirement that can help you execute program more efficiently.
Yeah, or as the stakeholders can collude, right,
Yes.
against the program or the project.
Yes, absolutely, yes. Now, stakeholder communication requirement for current program phase, right? Or program tranche or project phase, right? Information to be distributed to the stakeholders, including language, format, content, and level of details, right? Because every information is not relevant for every stakeholders, right? Reason for distribution of that information and expected impact to the stakeholder engagement, time frame and frequency for the distribution of required information to stakeholders, method for updating and refining the stakeholder management plan, as the project progresses and develops, right? Now, these are brief content of the stakeholder engagement plan, guys, right? And, as a part of stakeholder engagement, your stakeholder engagement should follow this plan. In fact, you should engage with stakeholder as per this plan. Now, tell me, should this plan be static or dynamic? Should this plan be static or dynamic, guys? Tell me, guys.
Obviously dynamic, because stakeholders
Yeah.
register gets updated, plan gets updated,
Yes. It should
strategy gets changed. So it's dynamic.
Plus, sometimes you feel that this is not very effective, so you have to redefine the plan, right?
Yes, definitely.
Right?
Always second chance.
Sometimes it might not work, so you have to update, right? Now, overall, overall, the stakeholder engagement works like this. See, I told you about identifying the stakeholder. I discussed about stakeholder analysis. Then I discussed about stakeholder engagement plan. And then I discussed about executing the stakeholder engagement plan during stakeholder engagement, right? So whatever we have discussed so far, overall, the whole picture looks like this, right? I'm showing you one slide, one flow that defines the complete overview of stakeholder engagement, right? Stakeholder engagement in one slide. Just a second, please. And let me magnify the slide. Now, is the slide visible to all of you? Right? Now, before I explain you the whole slide, again, I'll give you 2 to 3 minutes. Please go through the slide, the contents of the slide. Please go through the content of the flow. Go through the flow 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? Go through this flow. Then we'll have a detailed discussion on this.
Okay.
So, guys, are you able to relate it to whatever we have studied so far? The first step is identifying stakeholders. Now, tell me, which document do you create at this level? Which document, guys?
The stakeholders.
Stakeholder.
Register, right?
Yeah.
Right. Now, second step is creating and analyzing stakeholders. Which two techniques that we discussed? Power grid, matrix, or salience model, right? Do they happen at this stage? Right? Power grid and stakeholder salience model that we discussed, right? You remember power grid matrix that we discussed today? Yes or no?
Yes.
The second step, right, Rafael? Prashant?
Yep.
Now, the third and fourth step is creating a stakeholder management plan. Right? The third and fourth step combined is about stakeholder engagement plan. Is that okay?
Yes.
Now, fifth is about engaging with stakeholder as per the plan, right? And obviously, you will see the efficacy, the efficiency of this plan, right? See, based on the effectiveness of the results, right? You will come to know whether the stakeholder engagement plan is working well or not. See, if number of conflicts are very high, if there are communication gaps, right?
Right.
If the teams are not collaborating and eventually it is impacting the quality, the cost performance, the schedule performance, that means your stakeholder engagement is not working well, right? If they're all good, it is working well. So sixth step is to measure the effectiveness, right? If it is effective, it's okay, right? Keep on identifying the stakeholders and repeat this. If it is not working well, right? If the stakeholder engagement plan requires some level of adjusting, then can you see the third step says redefining also, right? If required, you will update the stakeholder engagement plan. Is that okay? Right? Now, see, PgMP doesn't talk a lot about program communication, right? PgMP doesn't. Now, the next step after doing this overall stakeholder engagement, right? The next step is, right, to come out with a right communication strategy, right, based on the needs of the stakeholder, right? So you have to create a program communication plan, which should talk about who should communicate with whom at what frequency, who should be the sender, who should be the receiver, what should be the format of a report, right? Right. So you all know program communication plan, right? Because your handbook doesn't talk about it a lot, right? The standard of program management, it does not cover the communication part of the program in details, right? It's almost similar to the project communication. You need a solid, robust program communication plan, right?
Yeah.
Now, can we do some questions on stakeholder engagement, guys?
Yes.
Right. So let's do some questions on stakeholder engagement. Now, my first question, what is the primary objective of program stakeholder management, guys? What is the primary goal?
B.
Tell me, guys, what should be the answer?
B. Bravo.
Bravo, right? To ensure stakeholder needs and expectations are met, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Which of the following is best way to categorize stakeholder?
Alpha.
Alpha,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Alpha. Which of the following is not a key stakeholder in a program?
Competitors. B.
Yeah. See, competitor may or may not be a stakeholder, right? See, we cannot say definitely competitor is not a key stakeholder, right? But in some situation, can competitor be a stakeholder? In certain scenarios, right? Not always. Can competitor also be a stakeholder or not?
If I need to evaluate that power and interest,
so
then,
sometimes competitor may fall under high power, low interest, right?
yes.
If you're competing for a program, right?
Yes.
Right? In India, it is very common with film industry, Kapil.
Yeah.
Big directors releasing on the same date or same month, right? So with respect to each other, they are high power, low interest, right? They're not interested in right? Yes or no?
I agree.
So they are competitors, but stakeholder, right? Not key stakeholders, though, right?
Key stakeholder.
The stakeholder register is created during which phase of the program management? We discussed about it. Prashant, answer it.
The stakeholder is
We discussed about it, right?
The definition phase.
The definition, right?
Yeah.
Alpha.
Right. And then within definition, We should create it in program formulation phase, right? What is the most effective way to manage a high power, high interest stakeholder, right? High power, high interest, right?
B.
B.
B, right? Engage
Beta.
close. Bravo. What is a RACI matrix used for? RACI, you all know.
Rasi, yeah.
Bravo.
RACI.
Yeah.
Bravo.
Yes.
Bravo. Which tool is best suited for monitoring stakeholder engagement? Sorry.
A, yeah, that's all right.
Bravo. Stakeholder engagement assessment matrix. Yeah. What is the most appropriate strategy for managing a stakeholder with high power but low interest? High power, low interest. We discussed about it in details, right? Government bodies, competitor, right? They all fall under this. Alpha.
See, engage closely should be high power, high interest, right?
So B, Bravo.
So that, bravo,
Yeah.
right? See, don't confront them. See, keep satisfied.
Yes.
See, keep satisfied does not mean that you have to please them, right? But don't confront them, right?
Okay.
What is the best approach to handling conflicting stakeholder interest? What is the best approach to handling conflicting stakeholder interests?
B.
Bravo, right? Using negotiation and alignment techniques, right? Should it be bravo? Now, next one. What is the key outcome of an effective stakeholder engagement plan?
C.
Charlie, right? This is what, that's why we want it, right? We want enhanced stakeholder support and participation, right? How should program manager handle stakeholder who are resistant to change?
Bravo.
Bravo. Yes. Are you okay with Bravo, guys?
Yeah.
Which document helps track stakeholder expectations and communication needs?
Alpha.
Okay.
Yeah. Plan.
What is the best way to communicate with stakeholder who prefers visual data?
C, Charlie.
Charlie, right? Dashboard and charts.
Charts, yeah.
What is the primary reason for continuous stakeholder engagement?
B.
Bravo. To ensure ongoing alignment with program objectives, right?
Right.
Yeah.
What type of stakeholder communication is used when updates are sent via newsletters?
Bravo.
Bravo, right? It's a push communication, right?
Yeah.
Right? When we talk about dashboards and all, they're pull, but this is push, right?
Yeah, newsletter push.
What is the best strategy to gain executive stakeholder support for a program? It's about getting support from sponsors. So what should be the answer?
Alpha. Allied
Alpha.
business
Benefits and ROIs. Which stakeholder engagement technique focuses on addressing stakeholder concerns before they escalate?
Alpha or B, Bravo.
See, it can't be alpha actually.
Yeah. I believe so.
C, stakeholder engagement assessment. No.
See, if you look at this, which stakeholder engagement technique focuses on addressing stakeholder concern before they escalate, right?
Yeah. So issue that's fine. Issue, yeah.
Issue resolution.
But conflict avoidance also we cannot use for that.
Conflict has happened actually. Concerns are there, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Concerns are there, right?
Okay.
Now, the stakeholder engagement assessment, stakeholder engagement planning is done so that it doesn't happen, right? In this
Right.
case, right? They're more like a risk management approaches, right?
Yeah.
But still, I feel it can be stakeholder engagement assessment as well. Okay, when you are basically having a stakeholder
No, no,
engagement
but
assessment.
see, when we do stakeholder engagement assessment,
Hmm.
it helps you to develop a strategy.
But during this phase, we basically interact with the stakeholder.
See, in the
We,
stakeholder engagement assessment matrix, right? We
uh,
want stakeholder to be positioned so that they contribute towards the program, right?
hmm.
But
It's a
the question is not about their contribution to their program.
assessment is a part of planning. We planned something, and after that, in
Yes,
delivery phase, something happened which was not expected. That's what they raised a concern, and it becomes an issue. Then
it's an
resolution
issue
is
actually.
required.
Yeah. See, uh, Kapil, stakeholder engagement assessment matrix is that in the interest of success of program, I want this stakeholder to be supportive or leading,
Hmm.
right? That is a different thing as it's a part of a strategy, right? But
Hmm.
here we are talking about there is an issue in front of
See,
you.
but Pankaj, if I need to go through that stakeholder engagement assessment matrix,
Mhm.
like one
That is
is
a strategy, right?
unaware,
Yeah,
second one is
ideally, that is a
intent.
strategy to prevent all these issues from happening. It's a
Hmm.
more, it's more like a risk mitigation.
Hmm.
But now there is a issue in front of you,
Okay.
right? So you
If
have to
we
resolve the issue.
if we forecast something that some of the item from the stakeholder may be a concern, then we can put that into risk register.
Now tell
And if
me, just one question to all of you. A stakeholder engagement assessment matrix, is it a preventive measure or not?
yeah, preventive.
Preventive.
Yeah.
Preventive, right? But issue has already happened, right?
Then yeah, it's a reactive one.
What do you think, Rafael? What is your viewpoint on this?
Issue already happened.
Sorry, what is the question?
The question is, right? This see the situation being highlighted in this question, Rafael, is it an issue or not? Right? Kapil thinks that the answer should be C, stakeholder engagement assessment matrix.
Yeah.
Now we are saying that stakeholder engagement assessment matrix is something which is preventive, right? Which is more like a strategy, right? You do stakeholder mapping so that you get maximum out of uh, the stakeholder engagement, right? In terms of program outcome, right? But the question says that there is some concern, there is some issue, right? Now before it escalates, you have to resolve it, right? So the correct answer should be Bravo, right? Not Charlie.
Yeah, so after issue resolution as well, we may need to revise the assessment as well.
That's a different
We
thing.
need to update that, right? It may
Yes.
be the case. So
See,
it's a kind of we will need to update it, revise it, then make it effective going forward.
we don't know actually, Prashant. See, we
Hmm.
might do a root cause analysis as a part of issue resolution,
May,
right?
yeah, that's what I mentioned. May need
Yeah,
to
yeah,
revise.
yeah. Now, what is the main risk of failing to manage stakeholders effectively?
See?
Charlie, right? Resistance, delay, and program failure, right? We all agree, Charlie?
Yep.
Which stakeholder is responsible for ensuring the program delivers business benefits?
Sponsor.
Right? Do we all agree, sponsor?
Yeah.
Now, the last question, right? What is the key purpose of stakeholder feedback loops?
Bravo.
Bravo, right? To ensure continuous improvement and alignment, right? This is the answer for this, right?
No,
Now, this,
Yeah.
what does it mean for feedback loops?
The feedback loops means, see, at different point, right? At different points in the program, we take feedback from the stakeholders in terms of progress of the program. Maybe it can be feedback related to some component. It can be feedback related to program, right? Or it can be feedback related to component quality, the overall program quality, right? But any such feedback help us to improve or not,
Yes.
right? So this is Be Bravo. Now this completes our stakeholder engagement, right? And tomorrow we are going to start with program life cycle, right? Now once we are done with program life cycle, the plan for subsequent weeks is, we'll do support program integration processes and support processes, right?